I find it very, how do I say, interesting. In general, in affirmations, we say we don't use negative words. But in this entire series, we are using them. Like today is overcoming insecurity. Then there is an overcoming restlessness recently we did. And then there is anger. And then there's anxiety. And you name it, we have probably covered many of them. But this is not a criticism. It is just a notice. And we will talk about that also, why this is actually very, very important and relevant to the topic. You see, insecurity. We are all devotees here. I'm talking to pretty much, as they say, preaching to the choir. This is worse than that. Sometimes we joke it is like preaching the preacher itself. Many of you are teacher yourself, so why am I telling you all of this? So this isn't I telling you anything actually. So this is more of a journey. We all say, what is the reason to be insecure? We are all disciples of Guru, our Guru. Many of you probably are. And he said, nobody's my disciple. They are all disciples of God. Meaning, in our heart, to certain extent, we have said, Ki, my life is guided by God. We all, to certain extent, not only just say it by experience, believe it also. We have faith, which is born out of our experience. And yet, we are discussing this topic. Insecurity. And that is because at the end of it, actually, all of us probably still feel that. When, again, everybody will have their own reasons to feel it. But what are the main causes? You see, like the places where we put our security on. When things are there, I feel like more secure. Like if there's enough balance. Now, we are all devotees, we're not greedy people. Not that greed itself has any negative connotation to that, but we understand it won't bring a lot of joy beyond the point, but a little is required. If your bank balance start depleting beyond the point, all of a sudden our alarms, antennas get raised, isn't it? Relationships with each other, with spouses, with your husbands, wife, your children. There's an expectation, okay, this is my family. We also call this a spiritual family. If any of these things get a little shattered, all of a sudden we feel, my goodness, we feel again, this is not. Wherever we feel our security, those things got to be stable. And yet, our experience is the money dwindles time to time. The relationship dwindles. Circumstances, things ought to be in a certain way. If the things are not in that way, again, dwindles. The dwindling itself actually is not a problem. The problem actually happens later on. Think about any time when you feel, okay, something inside you is rocking a little bit. What happens after that? There's a desperate attempt to bring an order, isn't it? Like, again, this is just a metaphoric example. If, let's say, my bank balance goes, there's no money left. There's a desperate attempt now to bring it to a level where I feel comforted. And very strangely, for all of this is an exercise they had done when I was working for IBM. The managers were discussing how much saving we should have so that we can quit the job and live. And I was very amazed. I mean, I was a fresher, you see, like I was earning fresher's salary. And this was so that we can live a humble life. And the amount of money they were talking about is like, my goodness, this is humble living. But they had made the calculation. Each one of us, I had a little lower bar maybe, but I had a bar. If that bar is not met, I don't feel secure. And then I keep running. As a devotee, we say God is the doer. We want to put our life in God's hand. And yet, our experience of life is actually many a times different, isn't it? Okay, why? We are not good disciples? No, it is not. Jyotish has written a very beautiful blog. So I'll just read a line that he says very clearly mention what is that. He says, when circumstances force us to live beyond the actual level of our faith, it creates tension. circumstances force us to live beyond the actual level of our faith, it creates tension. And it's a good thought. God is the doer. But how much of it have we assimilated? To a certain extent, we probably have experienced it also. That's why it's not just a good thought. For all of us, there is a little tangible reality to it also. That's why we have faith. We are walking this path. But there is a degree to which it has been understood. And why I say that even when we're talking about overcoming insecurity, the moment any one of us feel a little insecure inside heart, ki circumstances are changing, I'm not liking what is happening, that actually is where our threshold is getting triggered. You see, that is an opportunity where that threshold can be increased. So as a devotee, even when we say overcoming insecurity, the only way to overcome it is when it comes, you transcend it. We are doing a series in Marathi, the Kriya in Action. We were going to look at yamas and niyamas. So we decided this is all Kriya Bans revisiting this topic. So we looked at and we said, what is the success criteria for a yam? We say ahimsa. What should be like? Today I decide I want to be ahimsa. What should be at the end of the day my success criteria? Very naively we can say, okay, I did not have a single himsa thought. No violent thought came to my mind. Great. Forget about physical. Even mentally, I did not do anything. That's a good way to look at it. But actually, from a perspective of a devotee, this doesn't work at all. I can close my door here, try to listen to something so that I'm creatively engaged. It's very easy. One day, not having any thought like that, moderately easy. What will happen? The next day, the moment I open the door, because what we're looking is there's something inside which get touched, which makes me, in this case, it makes me insecure. I want to look at what that is. So whenever we look at, that's why I say even in this entire series, we are talking about the negative so-called words. These are the windows of opportunity by which we can actually go to the next level of understanding. Why am I being insecure? Because I'm standing on a very fragile platform. I have put my faith in wrong things. Moment it shakes, it's an opportunity. Am I going to follow with that wrong thought over and over? Or that's the moment I say, maybe I can change this time and look at the higher truth. God is the doer. Let's see what He has in mind for me at this moment in time. It's a very beautiful thought. And so the first level of practice, you see, so many a times when we look at overcoming something, we try to just avoid it. If it doesn't come, I'm secure. I say no. When it comes, only then we have a choice actually to look at it and then raise above it. Won't be easy. We did a very interesting exercise. Dear friend, we were talking about Mahabharata. So he asked this question, see, all this is good thought, huh? But tomorrow, this insecure feeling will come in this exercise. So then what do I do? So I said, then we did an exercise together. I said, okay, can you write your name on the board? So he said, sure, yes, I can do that. So he went and he write his name on the board very easily. Now we said, okay, come. And we gave him on one hand, like a big harmonium to hold and another big tabla to carry on his shoulder. I said, now carry this and can you still write your name on the board? I said, I'll try. So he walked a little fumble because he had to walk like a 3-4 steps. And while balancing all of those, he still wrote his name. What this tells you, again, look at it. We understood something right now. What is the main important understanding? Whenever an insecure feeling comes, it is just pointing to us I have put my faith in a wrong place. That much we know. And yet, sometimes our experience is like when it comes, we give the whole control to that feeling. Please now fix the robustness. Instead, now we choose, I don't want to do that. I want to see what is the alternative, what is the right thing to do in this case. Now, the moment we choose that path, the insecurity doesn't stop. She keeps talking to you. No, 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 we go this way. We have to fix this. We have to fix this. These are the things which we carry. We cannot just let go of them easily. That is like carrying the harmonium and tabla, like some weight. But we still walk. We still walk. It could be a very slow walk. It won't be a piece of cake walk, absolutely. But our determination is, I understood now. I have got it. And I am going to walk a different route. And the moment we walk and come to a certain end point of it, and then that feeling evades and whatnot, that's a very beautiful success criteria. We have transcended it. See, that's the moment when God is the doer. We can actually reflect and say, God was the doer, because we were present in that journey that we all did with God. This, I hope, is helpful. This is not an easy practice, but this is absolutely our job. It is not important to say, I have a very beautiful day there. I had none of these experiences came to me. It will not work because they are just under the rug. It's just that I never opened the rug, or the life never gave me an opportunity to open it. The moment we open it, we don't need to be too concerned about whether I'll feel. We have to be comfortable with uncomfortable feelings, if that makes sense to you. Because that is the door of opportunity. The way we decided when we are learning yamas, we to find the situations which actually poke me. Not that I'm going to invite them. If life brings, I found something, now I can practice. Now I can practice. And the moment we transcend that, it is not just one thing get transcended. It is the entire genre of that, whichever pulls you from that. It is not that I have a issue with a particular situation. No, everything. I don't know if you've seen this movie or must have heard like about Jesus' resurrection. So just so that his body doesn't get stolen, they were thinking that his body will get stolen by his disciple. They put like this huge rock in front of his grave and big thick ropes tied to another big stones. And those two who were asked to guard that cave, the next day they see that in the drunken state, though they see that event where they say, keep the door burst. The rope, this thick rope burst. And then their boss is like, it cannot burst. Nobody can break them also, forget about bursting. But you see, when we talk about our practices, why do we meditate? Why do we do any of our practices? Many practices suggested is to make God is the doer an experience, that realization that has to come to us. It is possible. And it is like that moment, the moment where, that's the moment where it has a capacity that these ropes will just burst. Nothing then can stop. Experiences will come. We can still choose to look at and live in that reality. Different and difficult things. And that is what our journey is. Journey from dependence on our own conditioning, one may say, the habits, the old things that we have been carried, slowly to more and more reliance on God. And then when that happens, how can we be insecure? Anandamayi Ma was asked about troubles of this world. Okay, there are so many troubles. Right now, if you open the news, it just seems chaos everywhere. No, it's very important to get concerned and do our bit in that, but then on the larger, from what space we come from. And that she gives, the one who has created this, don't you think he knows how to run it? And it is important to come from that space, you see, because the way he wants to run this world may not appreciate, may not match our understanding, may not match how I will run it. But at the end, I guess, if you have to choose between me and the one who has created, I think the choice is very obvious, isn't it? And that's why we do our bit, even in our own lives, in our own understanding, in our own battles, and outwardly, but starting from that space. It is Him alone. And through that, this journey can make its way through all of us towards that eventual freedom. So with that, I'll take a pause. Just let's close our eyes for a moment. And let's share these vibrations with everyone, that everyone who is needing this energy feels that God's energy is right there in them, guiding to whatever their next step is, that they may perceive that, and may they have the courage to follow it and live it. Let's rub in our hands, chant Om 3 times. Om. 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 Om Shanti Shanti.